Rain lashed against the wide, slanted windows of Grayson Regional Airport's air traffic control tower. It was an old airport, mostly used for small commercial and cargo flights, sitting isolated among rolling fields and dense pine forests. Inside the tower, Elliot Graves, the senior controller on duty that night, sipped lukewarm coffee, staring at radar screens that showed nothing but a few scattered echoes of distant weather fronts. It was the midnight shift, quiet, predictable, usually boring, but tonight felt different. Down on the tarmac, lights from the runway flickered against the sheets of rain. Beyond them, darkness swallowed the horizon. Elliot checked the rotation chart. He was alone for the next 2 hours until the junior controller arrived to relieve him. Suddenly, a faint buzz crackled over the main radio frequency. Grayson Tower? Requesting approach clearance. Over. Elliot's brow furrowed. No flights were scheduled for hours. He adjusted the volume and responded calmly. Unscheduled inbound? This is Grayson Tower. Identify aircraft and position. Static answered him, followed by another whisper of voice, barely audible over the rain pelting the glass. Approach clearance. Cleared for landing. Please respond.
Elliot flipped through the schedules again. No inbound flights, no filed flight plans, nothing. Goosebumps crept along his arms. The voice sounded like it came from another era, old, distorted, distant, as if transmitted by equipment long since abandoned. He stood and peered through the rain at the runway far below, and in the shimmering downpour, landing lights blinked into view, too faint, too slow, yet unmistakably the lights of an aircraft descending toward the airstrip. But the radar was blank, no blip, no signal, no transponder, nothing at all. Elliot's fingers hovered over the radio controls, heart pounding as the mysterious transmission crackled again. Grayson Tower, final approach, runway 27, proceed to land. His eyes darted to the radar screen. The screen remained empty, no sign of any aircraft. He glanced down at the runway through the rain-splattered glass. The faint glow of landing lights pulsed steadily, cutting through the storm. Suddenly, a shadow appeared, a shape descending slowly, blurred by the rain and darkness. Elliot's breath caught. No scheduled flights, no radar contact, yet something was clearly coming in. He pressed the radio button and called out, "Grayson Tower, to unidentified aircraft. Identify yourself and confirm intentions." Static answered. Then a voice, faint and hollow, "Unable to respond. Landing emergency. Need immediate clearance." Elliot frowned. He should alert emergency services, but his instincts told him something was wrong. The shadow touched down softly on the wet runway. The silhouette of a small vintage propeller plane emerged from the mist, its paint faded and peeling. Elliot grabbed his headset and tried again to establish contact, but the radio went silent. The engine sputtered, then stopped. A cold chill filled the tower as Elliot watched, frozen, the plane's door slowly creak open, but no pilot stepped out. Elliot's heart raced as he grabbed his coat and hurried down the spiral staircase of the control tower. Rain pelted his face as he approached the lone aircraft on the runway, its worn frame gleaming under the floodlights. He reached the cockpit and cautiously looked inside. The pilot's seat was empty. The controls were untouched, as if no one had been there for years. His flashlight beams swept over the instrument panel, gauges frozen, dials dusty, the radio silent. Suddenly, a faint whisper seemed to echo around him, coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. "Help me." Elliot spun, shining his light into the surrounding darkness. The runway was deserted except for the plane, its door still ajar. He stepped back into the tower to review the airport logs, searching for clues. The records dated back decades. In there, tucked in the archives, was a report of a missing pilot who vanished during a storm on that very runway 25 years ago. His name, Captain Thomas Reed. The chilling detail, no wreckage was ever found. Elliot's fingers trembled as he stared at the yellowed file. Could the plane on the runway be linked to this long-lost pilot? That night, Elliot returned to the tower, unable to shake the image of the empty cockpit and the whispering plea. The rain had eased to a soft drizzle, but an unnatural stillness hung over the airfield. He settled into his chair, eyes glued to the radar screens and radio frequencies. Minutes passed without incident. Then the radio crackled to life again. "Grayson Tower, final approach." The same ghostly voice echoed, cold and distant. Elliot's gaze darted to the runway lights, which flickered on and off as if controlled by an unseen hand. The vintage plane was gone, but a new blip appeared on the radar, slow, steady, approaching. Elliot grabbed his headset and spoke into the mic, voice steady despite the chill creeping up his spine. "Unidentified aircraft, this is Grayson Tower. State your intentions." The response was static, then the faintest whisper. "Help me find my way home." The voice sent a shiver through Elliot's body. Outside, the wind picked up, carrying with it the faint scent of engine oil and aged leather. Elliot realized he was no longer just an air traffic controller. He was a witness to something beyond explanation. Determined to uncover the truth, Elliot dove deeper into the airport's archives the next day. Dusty boxes of paper, old flight logs, and yellowed notebooks filled the cramped storage room beneath the tower. Among them, he found a leather-bound journal belonging to the missing pilot, Captain Thomas Reed. The entries detailed strange encounters during his last flights, flickering lights, unexplained radio static, and eerie voices guiding him through storms. One passage chilled Elliot to the bone. "The tower sometimes speaks to me, not through words, but through silence. I feel watched by something waiting, something lost." The final entry was a scroll. "If I disappear, remember me. Find the truth in the tower's shadows." As Elliot closed the journal, a cold breeze swept through the room, extinguishing the lone candle beside him. The air grew heavy with a sense of presence, unseen but unmistakable. He realized that the ghost in the control tower wasn't just a legend. It was a call for help from a soul trapped between worlds, searching for peace. That evening, Elliot returned to his post in the control tower, clutching the leather journal tightly. The sun had dipped below the horizon, and the airport lay cloaked in darkness except for the faint glow of runway lights. As the clock ticked toward midnight, the radio crackled to life again. Elliot's heart pounded as he recognized the ghostly voice. "Grayson Tower, I'm here, please." Suddenly, the lights in the tower flickered wildly. The temperature dropped sharply, and Elliot felt a presence behind him. He spun around, but saw only empty air. Outside the window, the silhouette of a vintage plane appeared on the runway, its engines rumbling softly in the night. Then, on the radar, a new blip appeared, slowly moving toward the tower. Elliot knew this was the moment the past and present converged. He whispered, "Captain Reed, I hear you. I'm here." The tower filled with a soft ethereal glow as the ghostly plane's engines roared one last time before fading into silence. Elliot exhaled. The weight of the haunting lifted, but the mystery lingered, a reminder that some souls never truly leave. In the quiet aftermath, Elliot found the radio crackling softly with static. Then, clearer than before, a voice emerged, calm, gentle, and full of gratitude. "Thank you, Elliot, for listening, for seeing." The control tower lights dimmed to a peaceful glow. Outside, the runway lights steadied, no longer flickering erratically. Elliot reached for the journal once more, noticing a final note had mysteriously appeared on the last page, written in elegant, faded script. "Guide those who wander back to safety. Keep the light on in the tower." Elliot understood his role wasn't just managing planes, it was guarding memories, watching over the lost souls who still sought a way home. As dawn broke, he looked out over the runway, knowing the ghost in the control tower had found some peace for now. But deep down, he knew the skies held more secrets waiting for the next midnight shift. Stories of ghostly figures and mysterious voices in air traffic control towers have circulated in aviation folklore for decades. Such tales often describe controllers hearing untraceable transmissions or witnessing spectral aircraft that don't appear on radar. Some investigators link these phenomena to atmospheric conditions, such as temperature inversions or ionospheric disturbances that can cause radio waves to bounce unpredictably, creating echoes or phantom signals. Historical records reveal several cases of missing aircraft whose last communications included strange, unexplained messages that have never been decoded. Some theories suggest these transmissions come from trapped souls or time loops caused by intense emotional or traumatic events. Psychologists propose that high-stress environments and fatigue might also induce auditory or visual hallucinations among controllers during late-night shifts. Yet many controllers swear by their experiences and report changes in equipment functioning during these events, suggesting a mix of science and the supernatural.
Was Captain Thomas Reed's ghost truly reaching out for help from beyond? Is it possible that places like Grayson Regional Airport's control tower serve as thin points between the living world and the afterlife?
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next one. Bye for now.